there was a super interesting article from Automotive News about Toyota being the sales leader in 2021 and likely going to be the sales leader again in 2022. I thought we'd kick it there, Dad. How's that sound?
That sounds like a good plan to me.
Awesome. Great. So let me share my screen with you and let's run through this article together. So here it is back in Automotive News, title being Analysts. Toyota might keep U.S. sales crown in 2022. Prices, interest rates will rise. Those are some of the other expectations from those who are supposedly all-knowing. But the real headline here, Dad, Toyota's beaten GM. GM's traditionally been the U.S. sales leader for many, many years, and Toyota hasn't. And they're going to be this year and likely next year as well.
Yes, Toyota is the worldwide leader in global sales, but not necessarily the number one leader in sales in the United States. But they should be this year. And the expectation on behalf of the analysts is because the Toyota seems to be mitigating the chip shortage a little better and the supply chain issues a little better than General Motors, that they should be able to continue that top spot again next year. And the analyst expectation is that General Motors should be able to retake the top spot going in by the end of 2023. But you know, let's get through this year. Let's make it into next year before we start giving out predictions for 2023 and what GM might or might not be able to do.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, you know, in the report here, I'll pull the data back up on the screen. There's a couple things of note. You know, the companies that were hit hardest by the chip shortage so far were GM and Ford. And we recently, I think it was yesterday, Dad, we were talking about the days supply of inventory and all that fun stuff. GM and Ford are struggling mightily, especially compared to where they were 3 years ago. Everyone is, but it was estimated that GM lost 675,000 vehicles already this year. Ford's lost 600,000. Toyota and Stellantis are at 300,000 vehicles that have been lost to production. So this isn't necessarily a reflection of maybe consumer buying interests. Like maybe there are more people that want GM and Ford products than Toyota and Stellantis products. It's a matter of merchandise that's on the shelves. Like you can just find more Toyotas out there right now. You know, you can't find as many GMs or especially Fords. Ford's having the quality control issues out the wazoo too. That's making it difficult for them as well.
They have any number of issues, but you know, a lot of their issue is the chip issues, and both Ford and GM really misplayed the handling of acquiring enough chips to be able to produce enough vehicles at the levels that they had intended. And so it's coming back to bite GM in the butt a little bit this year. And the expectation is that it will bite them again next year. And, you know, it's great that analysts would suggest that by the end of 2023, that GM should be in a position to overtake Toyota again. But I don't know. My thinking is that as more and more people get into Toyotas and realize the quality of those vehicles as compared to some of the domestic brands, that there might not be any turning back from Toyota. So I don't know that Chevy or General Motors in particular would be in a position to retake or regain the lead again if they keep losing consumers to better quality brands.
Yeah, and the other thing is the vehicles that are being produced are getting really high marks from different review sites, reviewers, personas out there. The Toyota products are really well beloved, and GM products and others, you know, like sure, they still hold a place in people's heart. Like to talk to someone who owns a Chevy Silverado, and they'll tell you why a Chevy Silverado is the best thing ever. But the Toyota Tundra is a formidable competitor to that nowadays, and it didn't always used to be.
Let me share a quick story with you, if I may. When I had our golf store, before I had the privilege of going bankrupt out in Arizona, the golf store was about.
Did you ever say to your financiers,
"Show me the money! Show me the money"? Yeah, and I also said to the vendors that I owed the money to, I can't show you the money. But that's a different story. But anyway, the store was about 2.5 miles from the General Motors proving grounds. And I used to get a lot of their engineers at the store, and they'd always come in different vehicles. And one day, one of the engineers was there, and he was driving a Lexus. And I said, "Let me ask you a question. Why do you have all these different cars?" He says, "Well, we buy all the cars so we can tear them down and we can see how they're built and we can see what the quality of their components are." I said, "Okay, having done that, what are the best cars that you guys have seen?" He said, "By far, it's Lexus and Toyota, without a doubt." This was in the late 80s, early 90s. I don't think things have really changed since then. So, the quality of the Toyota and Lexus products are the reason that Toyota will be the leading seller of cars in the United States this year and probably will continue to be next year.
And we've got a comment here in the chat, Dad, from Space here with us live on YouTube. Same with the Korean brands. We'll be gaining market share with better availability and great value.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, a story that we're going to touch on a little bit later in today's show is all about the fact that Hyundai is actually looking to produce their own semiconductors, their own chips, to
Yep.
remove the reliance they have on TSMC and ASML and all the other, providers or component providers out there. Yeah, I mean, imagine a world where Hyundai can keep more of that in-house, probably much more expensive, but better availability of their product. People love their Hyundais, their Kias, etc. I
Yep.
mean, that's the future.
Yep. I think it very well could be.
Now, Pops, we also go live on Twitch when we do these shows, and Pitoro just sent us that. I don't know what that is, but we love when people stream us on Twitch.
I believe I don't know what that is.